I think we can all agree. AI gadgets had a 6-month lifespan. The Humane AI Pin and Rabbit R1 launched with great fanfare, lots of marketing hype, and now that we've had these devices for a few months, it's clear they're pretty bad. I still can't get my Rabbit R1 to update or even connect to the internet anymore, and the Humane AI egg charger might catch on fire. But what has really sealed their demise is Apple Intelligence. Apple finally announced all of their artificial intelligence features coming to iOS 18 in the iPhone, the Mac, the iPad, and now I think we can definitively say these AI gadgets really don't have a reason to exist. Now, I'm not going to say I called it, but I did post this video 5 months ago and it has aged very well. And I'll be honest, I was trying to be optimistic. I mean, I actually bought both of these things with my own money, tried to use them for several weeks, whether it's queries, translation. I never got this thing to order DoorDash, but it's clear that all of those features are going to pale in comparison with something that's built on your device like Apple Intelligence. Let's just take both of these devices one by one, actually what they might have been almost good at, and how Apple Intelligence is going to just completely beat it. First, the Humane AI Pin, whose promise was to rid you of your phone one day and you could do everything with this little device that was attached to your clothes, wasn't good at very much. It got hot, basically was just asking ChatGPT things, but there were two features that seemed like it could really be unique. One was the translation feature. Having something always on your clothes or with you that could translate into any language quickly seemed promising. Joanna Stern, in her video of the Humane AI Pin, even showed it off at a restaurant, and translation seemed to work pretty well. But it wasn't perfect, nor was it great.
This is Spanish.
Spanish.
And what did Apple announce is coming to the next version of watchOS? A dedicated translate app. This fall, once watchOS 11 is available to everyone, you'll be able to translate right on your wrist in 20 different languages, and more coming after that. And I've tested Apple's translation features in the past. I even did a whole video with my mom going back and forth in Spanish, which she's fluent and I'm not. And Apple translation is better than both the Humane AI Pin and Rabbit R1, and it's going to be right on your wrist. But there were other features like the catch-up feature, where the Humane AI Pin promised that all the text messages and emails you might have gotten during the day, it'll be able to provide a summary at the end of the day, so you don't have to look at every message. Well, there are two big problems with that. One, this is not connected to your phone, never was and probably won't be now, so the only text messages it could summarize were the ones sent directly to the weird phone number you had to pay additionally for the pin. Which I gotta cancel that subscription now that I think about it. And that catch-up and prioritization feature is something that Apple announced directly during DubDub. Priority notifications powered by Apple Intelligence, where you'll be able to see the most important things right up at the front. Priority inbox, which will be able to prioritize email across accounts. Which, if you think about it, is something also unique to Apple Intelligence as opposed to even Gmail or individual mail apps. No matter how many accounts you have, and I have like 4 or 5 different email accounts between Outlook, Gmail, and Fastmail, this is going to be able to do that prioritization and summarization across all those accounts. It won't just be locked to your Gmail or your Outlook. It will do it for all the messages on your iPhone. That makes it uniquely positioned to actually be useful for all your email. Not only that, but you'll be able to get summaries of those messages right at the top and even record phone calls and get summaries and transcriptions from that. Plus, if you're in different focus modes, if there's a notification or message from someone that looks important, but they're blocked in that focus mode, Apple Intelligence will still surface that for you. So the catch-up feature, it's a non-starter. Translation, it's going to be on this device, which is going to work better and be more reliable. So was there anything else this thing offered? There were a couple demonstrations where Humane asked it to make a spreadsheet of the top YouTube creators and things like that. Those features were in beta and still hadn't come to the actual pins we have in our hands right now. But Apple Intelligence is actually going to communicate with third-party apps and services, more on that in a second. Plus, it's integrated into the iWork suite like Pages, Numbers, and Keynote. And so this pin is just not offering anything unique anymore. And because Apple Intelligence is baked into all your devices, it's using the semantic index on device, which is private and secure. Unlike the Humane AI Pin, which had to talk to the internet every time you made a query, it's going to be able to take your personal data privately and securely, plus emails and texts, and all surface the most important things to you and summarize it for you all automatically. The pin also promised to do things like change the tone of an email or a text message, and again, that's going to be built into anywhere you can select text right on your iPhone or your Mac. Listen, I was optimistic, but I'll be honest, I haven't charged this thing in weeks. The egg case might catch on fire. I really just don't see any reason to use this anymore ever again. But what about the Rabbit R1? Rabbit promised to take a different approach, not just a large language model, but a large action model, being able to take action on services like DoorDash and Spotify. And that's pretty much it. We never really added any more features. I tried to order DoorDash multiple times, never got it to work where I am, and there's supposedly updates that make this thing work better, but I could not get it to update. So that doesn't work either. And now it's not even connected to my Wi-Fi, and I don't know why. And let's be honest, this whole rabbit hole was pretty weird. Oh, I forgot it also integrated with Uber, but that didn't work for me either. When you wanted to connect an account like DoorDash, it started doing this weird thing like creating a login session. And this is like a weird web view. And what's actually happening is you are accessing a computer in some random server room somewhere and signing into your DoorDash account really in an unsecure way. And this login is stored on one of Rabbit's servers somewhere. You could tell because even things like autofill in your browser don't work because this actually isn't in your browser. This is some random computer somewhere. Definitely not private or secure. Let's be real. But will Apple Intelligence come anywhere close to doing things like the large action model and ordering DoorDash for you? Well, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Your iPhone, right now, can actually kind of do that already. There's actually apps like Starbucks and McDonald's that already support things called app intents, which allow you to actually order from within those apps using shortcuts already on your iPhone. This is not the beta, this is iOS 17, publicly available as it is today. And when you create an order in something like Starbucks, it can actually take that entire order, make it a Siri shortcut, even the location and store where you plan to order that from. You can even do things like reward redemption. And if I run this shortcut, it'll just place that order at Starbucks for me. That's already doing a lot of actions for you right now. And trust me, apps like DoorDash or other delivery services definitely want you to spend more money more easily in the future. So now with Apple Intelligence, those same app intents can be tied into things like Apple's Assistant, Siri, and you'll be able to do those actions without having a shortcut, but just holding that button and asking your phone. And during the keynote, as Apple was presenting all the features of Apple Intelligence, it actually called out third-party apps already that plan to support Apple Intelligence, things like Humane and other third-party apps. And when those third-party applications take advantage of the Apple Intelligence APIs or app intents, you'll be able to do all those large action model things built in privately and securely, and actually with the service and app intending you to use it that way. Right now, if you try to do the Rabbit R1 rabbit hole thing, that's not something that DoorDash officially supports, which is why it's just not very good. And not to mention, the Humane AI pin in Rabbit R1 had no idea of the context of what was on your devices, your calendar events, text messages, and all of that. And no Android device or iPhone device is going to give that access to this third-party hardware. But Apple Intelligence is going to have access to all of that, creating a massive personal context with your photos, notes, files, texts, and more. And pretty soon, as those third-party developers and services add Apple Intelligence to their apps, it will be way more powerful than the large action model could ever hope to be. Now, to be fair, Apple Intelligence is only going to be available on the iPhone 15 Pro or newer due to the chip and any M series chip. So if you have an M1 Mac or newer, or even an M1 iPad Air or iPad or newer, they will all have Apple Intelligence, but you will need a more modern device. I'm sure as iPhones get released in the future, Apple Intelligence will be available to more and more people. But Apple made it abundantly clear. This is how you really implement artificial intelligence features in a device, an operating system, to actually make it useful. Some of the things I'm most excited for is in your email list. Rather than seeing 2 lines of a preview of the message, Apple's actually going to put a summary of the email right there in your email list. You'll be able to generate images and things like notes or the iWork suite, and even create AI-generated images and text messages if you want to do that. But even the writing tools, which will be available on all of Apple's devices to summarize, change the tone, and even smart replies, which will offer menu options for questions that your sender asked. All that is going to make your experience using your iPhone and Mac and iPad way more seamless. So like I said at the beginning, January 2024 to June 2024, that was the lifespan of AI gadgets. If you think otherwise, and maybe these have some kind of future in the coming years, leave comments below this video. I'd love to hear your defense and why you think that is. Then don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because as Apple Intelligence becomes available, I'll be covering all the features right here on the channel. Hit that like button, and if you want to see everything Apple announced, including lots of the Apple Intelligence features, you can check out my recap of the WW keynote right up here. And if you want to learn more about some hidden features that didn't make the keynote but are actually really useful, I have a video on all that right up here. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.